My husband leave me, I don't know what to do, I have to get a job. My mother them don't want me to come back home. And she said, I can get a job for you. You're a pretty woman. Well, I excited. I'm gonna get a job. Because remember, I have my 3 children, I had to find somewhere to go. And I have one daughter. I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. Right? So she told me, get dressed and bring the children and them. So I said, well, where are you going? She said, getting a job for you in a bar. So I said, well, a waitress, I can do that. You need no education for that. I can do that. We dropped the children by the setter. Well, I remember, it's a South Gale. I don't really know town. I just moved to Santa Cruz when I get married. So I see we reach by this place in town, place big. Remember, I can't read. When I reach now, I see all these men watching me. I said, but what kind of place is this? I said, what is the name of this? She said, Copacabana. She said, you're going to be a prostitute. I said, what? I went out the night. When I went out, the first customer was a businessman, an Indian guy. And he said, why are you here? Well, I started crying one time in the room. He said, well, here what? I don't want to do nothing with you. I'm feeling sorry for you because I started telling my story. My husband leave me and the whole story. And he said, well, we will stay here. He said, I can't go with you, but I'm giving you my number. I'm giving you some money. If you go out, tell them we do it. He said, but you're too pretty to be here. And that night I made 9,000 because I was new.
Oh, so you worked and
I had no choice. Because I had to pay the babysitter, I had to find a place for my kids.
The vagina was worked?
No, I don't think so. Your mouth ain't good enough. Why you say something like that?
I tell you, you need to get to know me, man.
I tolerate men.
We live in a risky world, you know? Yeah. So I can say, and we explore.
Men should always spend on a woman.
Appreciation is a big man.
Welcome to another episode of the Perspectives podcast. Me in Trinidad. Lady who make me drive come far today. She kind of tricked me.
How I trick you? I could have never tricked you. Here why? Because I drove the same distance to come and meet you yesterday and you were late. Aha, talk about that. Oh, you get quiet.
We have a fiery one today.
Well, yeah. Yeah, my name.
We're here with a doctor. A doctor with a book and quite an interesting story. She proclaims or professes to be a manager of a lot of artists in the past.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I'm here to get the doctor's story. Now, doctor, what's your name again?
Dr. Sandra Ramsingh. You can call me, my alias is Cassie. You can call me Cassie. You can call me Sandra. You can call me Cookie. You know?
I'll keep it at Doc.
Doc. Oh, Dr. V. That's my radio name, Dr. V.
Yeah, we're there with Dr. V.
Very good.
Now, Dr. V, who are you?
Who am I? I'm a child of the Most High God, firstly.
What religion is that?
I'm a Christian.
Okay, so you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Now, who is Dr. V? Like, where are you from? Give me some backstory.
So you want to go back in the genealogy of me?
Yes.
Okay, well, I came from a Hindu background. As you know, my surname is Ramsingh. Prominent family in Central. At the age of 9, I was raped by my stepfather. My mother did not believe my reports. And back in those days, well, I'm 57. It didn't have anything like rape kits. Or you get rape and there's a rape kit. It didn't have that. But when I told my mom, she didn't believe me. And
at the age of 9?
She didn't believe me.
No, how did that happen?
Okay, so I never knew my dad, one. And my mother got involved with someone. And she was pregnant for the person. So we was to live like in a 1-bedroom apartment. And over the years, I think this man was a pedophile a long time. That's what I come to conclude after years of studying on the background of the family. And he started to look at me. But you know, as a child, I look at him as a father figure because I never knew my dad. So then one day he came and he told me, I want to show you how to love. I am 9 years old. Come on. If somebody come in and tell you they want to show you to love, and then a day he say, I want to show you how to kiss. But, you know, you feel uncomfortable because you know something not right. I mean, there's a big titty something, you old man, I'm 9. And I kind of used to pull away or run away like when my mother not home because I know like something was going to happen. And then he would start to show me his private part. Like let's say, long time those apartments would have like the drawing room, the bedroom, the kitchen. And he would stand up and show me his private part. And then I started to feel real comfortable. So I started to run away and go up the road by the neighbor. And I tell the neighbor, and the neighbor say, well, I can't do anything.
So he would have just been showing you his private part.
Sure.
And you wouldn't have said anything, like you didn't say anything.
Yeah, I tell my mother, when I started to tell her, she told me, what's up and say talking? And stop lying on the man, that normal kind of, And I used to just say I'm not staying home because I was scared of him. So like if she leave me home with him, I would run away and go up the road by the neighbor. One thing it well put together,
Yeah, man.
It well put together.
Yeah, man, you should find out. You should ask about me.
I will. I will ask. But asking now, you well put together here, real neat, everything, face clean. I can't even offer you some malago cream. Because you just perfect. Yeah, can I say perfect?
Careful of me,
I'm married happily too. Married happily. I ain't careful at all.
A ring never get in the way of much,
The devil is a liar and a thief from the pit of hell. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so.
You should read up on Jamaican men.
Listen, I live in Brooklyn, New York. Most of my neighbors was Jamaican. You hear what I'm saying?
I digress.
And I'm going to tell you something.
I say I digress.
And let me tell you something. You see Trini men? But I'm ready for them.
So you think Trinidad better than Jamaica?
If they better, I'm going to say a word that's not even in the dictionary, baddest. Talk, man.
Dr. Rafi, so we were going through your story. You were explaining the story of how you were unfortunately molested by a stepfather at the age of 9. Now, you were saying you started to tell your mother about the situation and what her response was basically.
Back then, a lot of women would protect the relationship. And I think being a 9-year-old child, I am a mother. I would actually listen to my child and, investigate the matter. That is just me. But she didn't believe, she said things like I'm trying to mash up a relationship. And I'm just like my father. And, a lot of different things. And it went on for a while until it happened. I was raped. I won't go into much of it, but I was raped, brutally raped. I couldn't fight up with him. He was on top of me. And I was bloody. And I couldn't move. When my mother came home, he told a bigger lie. He said I went up the road and I had sex. Come on, 9 years old. And she believed him. And she said, you don't get pregnant in my house. First thing, don't bring no child in my house.
And you didn't try to explain to her that?
I tried. And after that, I couldn't go to school. I was like bedridden for a week or something.
And she never called the police?
Never.
So was it a wealthy person? Like, was it somebody of stature in terms of maybe her life would have been placed in danger?
I think no, it had nothing to do with that. I think for me, she just found security and she didn't want to lose it because I think I told you she was married off at the age of 14 and she ran away. So she have a story too. She had a story too. And sometimes
give us a brief synopsis of that.
Her story. Well, okay. I think I was telling you that I came from a Hindu background. When you reach a certain age, in back then, a lot of arranged marriages would take place. So my mother was married off at the age of 14. Now, they have a thing called a lukani. The lukani is an old Indian lady would look on you until the second week when you will have to have sex with your husband. She ran away before the second week. And when she ran away with a school friend, a girl. She ended up staying by them. And then she come and pick up the guy who's supposed to be my father. And she got pregnant with me. And that's how it started. That's how that started. Well, that's how I was conceived.
So you're a trauma baby.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call myself a trauma baby because here I am. God had a plan and a purpose.
Well, a pleasure baby then.
Well, I don't even think that. I think it was just getting away, and I think sex back in them days, it didn't have all these STDs we have, so it was like, we used to call it a one night stand.
Well, it's still called a one night stand, you know.
Yeah, and she got pregnant with me. And I think when she told the guy said, that's not my child because all my kids are light skinned. So on my birth paper, there's no father.
So wait, your mother is Indian?
Yes, my mother is Indian.
And the guy is what?
Afro-Trinidadian.
Afro-Trinidadian. So you're what would be considered as a Douglas?
A Douglas, the sweetest females ever in Trinidad.
I feel like
Douglas rise the nation.
I feel like I need to get that Douglas before I go.
Well, where I go link you?
Yeah, man,
I know plenty Douglas.
Organize that for me.
I go link up that for you. You don't want to leave Trinidad, you know. You're gonna start a whole business over here. But you have to get a professional Douglas. You can't get no tinny bappa.
What is a tinny bappa?
A tinny bappa is those little girls who running around with the bottom outside. That's a tinny bappa. You need to get a professional, you know, independent businesswoman. But I go link you if you're serious.
No man, I tell you, you need to get to know me, you know.
Okay.
Serious business me deal with, you know.
All right.
I don't play those kind of games.
All right.
Man.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so you were saying you were conceived, and as a Douglas, you grew up with your mom, not knowing your father. Do you think those things affected you in any way, shape or form, other than the fact that you eventually got molested or sexually assaulted by a stepfather?
I had known someone who I thought was my father, and to be honest with you, I used to ask God why, but your past does not determine your destiny. And I believe if I did not go through the things that I have gone through, I would not have been the woman I am today.
Right. Now, after being molested or being raped, so brutally, where did things go for you?
Well, from there, my mother took me out of school because questions going to be asked. Because obviously, if I go back to school, questions, you know, I may have talked. So I was taken out of school, and she took me to the court. And before, I didn't have no policewoman. It used to have a thing called matron. They used to put on a little white shirt and a little skate, and she took me in front of the court and said I was running away from home and she couldn't handle me. That wasn't really the story, you know.
So she knew for a fact that your stepfather sexually assaulted.
I believe deep down inside she knew. I knew that she knew, but again, she had a child for this man. She didn't want to lose that stature, and on top of that, they were building a house in the country.
Oh.
You understand? Because his father had given him a piece of land. So they wanted to get me out of the way. So when they went in front of the court, they said I was rebellious, I running away, I want to go to school, and the magistrate, they don't want to hear what I have to say as a child. So then I was admitted to St. Jude's Girl Home in Belmont. I was placed in a home for girls.
And what was that like now?
Well, the home was run by nuns at that time. Like I guess the first 2 weeks was okay until the bullying started. And you have to get up early in the morning, you have to go to chapel, all this kind of stuff. But I was a child of the court, so I wasn't even put in school at that time. So I was just in the home, just every day going to chapel, you're washing, you're cleaning, you're doing little art and craft and that kind of stuff. I was there for like a year. And then she came and took me out.
Okay. Now going back home, did the assaults continue?
Yes. Until I was 14.
What happened at 14?
At 14, I ran away. I'm a girlfriend. We planned to run. We ran away. She was dating a guy now. He was killed. His name was Sheldon Blake. He was one of the biggest.
At 14, you was dating a guy?
We ran away. My girlfriend was dating somebody. I wasn't dating anybody at the time. So she told me she was running away. I said, well, I running too. So she didn't pick up this guy, Sheldon Blake, and he had a friend. So when we ran away, we ended up St. Paul Street on the poles. And this guy was like the biggest dealer there. His name was Daylight. He had a wife and thing higher up the hill. He had a brother named Prisoner. I think Prisoner died now. Daylight died also. And we both were dealing bosses. So we didn't know, we young, we stupid, we just glad to get away. And they come and they say, we want to take care of some stuff over Tobago. And that's the first time I started to traffic. At the age of 14.
At the age of 14, you started to traffic. And what was that now?
Well, they told us it was marijuana. We had 2 big duffel bag. We know we young and we stupid. They wasn't even on the boat with us. They was on the boat, but they were far from us. You know, you're young and you're stupid.
So if anything...
We get locked up. We don't know we young. So when they tell us they're paying us $300 back in them days is a lot of money. So we did get over to Tobago. We got our little money. And then the boss come and he tell me, well, I like you, you know. I like you. I want to be with you. I was like, okay. So I was with him. So he had his wife, and I was like the little side chick. We call it side chick now. And they end up renting a house for us in Mount Door. And my girlfriend and I, we was living there. And that's how it started.
So from 14, you're basically on your own. And being a runner, so to speak, or a drug mule, what was the most traumatic incident you went through?
I do think later on in my life had some traumatic things, but around that time, there was nothing really traumatic. Only one traumatic thing I could really, and I won't really call it traumatic. Those days, the cocaine, they now come on the scene. I used to watch them boil it and put it in a straw. So the guy I was with, he started to sniff. And I realized that when he used, he was a totally different guy. You know, he would say, well, you can't go home and you have to stay down the road here and you're not going Mount Hope. And I see you talking to this guy down the road and, you know, and I think one night when I see him knock out, I say, I running away and going up the road because I can't deal with this because they're forcing you to smoke, but you don't want to smoke. Remember, you're young. You know, you don't want, and you're seeing what the cocaine doing and those times.
Oh, so they were forcing you to smoke the cocaine itself?
Yeah, the cocaine. So the cocaine used to come back in those days in straw. So when they make the whole long straw, they go cut it. And that's how they will sell it, right? That's back in the day. You didn't born yet.
Yeah, my baby, you know?
Yeah, I know you didn't born yet.
What do you think of it?
You look like a 27.
Take off 2 years after that.
25?
Yeah,
well, I was close.
I was close. 26 in 2 weeks.
Good.
But, well, I find that I'm an old man in Trinidad based on, I did an interview with a youth and him tell me he's an old man because no youth, I make it 20,
it's true.
25,
it's
26.
True. When people, like I remember when I now started to do vlogs, people used to say, he's an old man. I reach 57, you know, much people can't reach. I say, I'm glad when you tell my old.
Right. Now, you started to actually using the drugs.
No, I never used.
Oh, you never?
No, I never.
Never
that was
used.
the problem I had with him.
And he wanted you to.
But I never used cocaine at that point in time in my life.
Right.
And I tried to run around and catch me down the bottom. I get some licks. I used to have real earring in my ears, all kind of thing. I get some licks. And I ended up running away. He could not find me again. Yeah. So I ran away for a while. He came back looking for me, but he didn't find me. And we kind of, that's a whole nother story.
All right, we're not going to really go deep in depth with that one. Now, from those years, you never went back to school?
Never go back to school.
So where did life go for you?
So here what, remember, I was 14 and I started traffic. And my mother put out a thing in the papers and say I run away and police locked me up. And they
so police find you?
Because I'm underage. So police locked me up now and put me back in St. Jude's. And when I was 15 going on 16, she come and she get me out. So when she take me out, she say, is either I get married and you're going on the streets because we don't build we house. I said, my mommy, what you talking about? She said, you're going to get married. The same thing they do her parents, she did the same thing to me. And I was married after a soul there in the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force at the age of 16.
So what was that now?
That was, first thing, the priest didn't want to marry us because I was underage. So they had to get people to sign for me. And then he was in special forces. He was a controller. I was a battered wife for 15 years. You see, I running it along quick because there's a whole book.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a battered wife for 15 years. I couldn't read, I couldn't write. all I could have done was spell my name and my address.
So how come you never run away from that?
You didn't get to the rest of the story. So one day he came home, I had 3 kids.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm rushing this story.
You're rushing the story. So I had 3 kids. I had a lot of emergency room visits.
For what?
Like, you see in this market? This is from a cutlass planner saying, and the tip of the cutlass stick me here. I have on a leg here. At time, he stamp on it. Then the next time he pull out a big galil. And here what? He was a controller. He was like, comb your hair like this.
What am I beat you for?
Don't talk to the neighbors. He was them kind of men. I don't want you cut your hair. I don't want you dress this. I don't want you talk to the neighbor. I don't want you see them Lifetime movie crap? That was that kind. He was a real controller. But I believe because he knew what I went through as a child, I think it was a way for him to he was a controller.
Oh, so your mother probably put a certain image of you in his mind.
You know, and one day he came home. I had 3 kids, and he said he didn't want to be married again. He was in Tobago. Remember all the time I can't read and think I have no job, I have no family support, I can't go back by my mother. All my aunts and them on this side of the woods here, they're East Indian, they're racial. You can't go back to them for help. And I do so, and when he come home and he say, you know, soldiers, they'll position them in different parts. Trinidad and Tobago, he was Tobago, and he pick up a woman. And then he come home, I had a little baby, my son is 32 now. I was just a baby. He say he don't want to be married again. Pack up all his clothes, put it in the car and he left. So here am I with 3 children. No,
What were the ages at that point?
my last child was a baby. He was like about 7 months. My son, he was 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5, because I had him a year apart with my daughter, and my daughter was 4. So I had 2 kids a year apart. And there's Kitchener. You ever heard of Lord Kitchener?
No, that.
Anyway, he was one of the biggest Calypsonians in Trinidad. He used to have a Lord Kitchener.
Okay, yeah. I know the name. That name sound familiar.
Yeah.
Maybe if you sing one of them.
He was like Sparrow. You know the mighty Sparrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So anyway, he had a lot of dancers where he was living in Santa Cruz. So I didn't know what to do because I had to find somewhere to live. And I went to her. She was my seamstress.
So the husband left you with the children?
Yeah, left me with the children and he gone. No family support.
Wow.
Yep.
I think you should have named yourself Dr. T, you know. Dr. Trauma, you know.
Nah. You see, you can't put that kind of name on yourself, then you won't be an overcomer.
Right.
You understand? Right? And I went to her and I told her, my husband leave me, I don't know what to do, I have to get a job. My mother them don't want me to come back home. And she said, I can get a job for you. You're a pretty woman. Well, I excited. I'm gonna get a job. Because remember, I have my 3 children, I had to find somewhere to go. And I have 1 daughter. I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. Right? So she told me, get dressed and bring the children and them. So I said, well, where are you going? She said, getting a job for you in a bar. So I said, well, a waitress, I can do that. You need no education for that. I can do that. We dropped the children by the sitter. Well, I remember it's a South Gale. I don't really know town. I just moved to Santa Cruz when I get married. So I see we reach by this place in town, place big. Remember, I can't read. When I reach now, I see all these men watching me. I said, but what kind of place is this? I said, what is the name of this? She said, Copacabana. She said, going to be a prostitute. I said, what? Because that was the word long time they used to use prostitute. Then you used to use whore or sex worker.
Well, a prostitute, right, true. You keep on changing name them, you know, a prostitute still, you know. Prostitute.
No, but back in the day, that was the popular name, right?
Prostitute are the popular name still, you know. I feel like you're a bit out of touch.
No, I'm not out of touch. The new word is sex worker, honey. Yeah.
Prostitute, man.
Sex worker.
All right.
Sex worker.
All right.
They're making it sound good now. I'm a sex worker.
No, man. You're a prostitute, man.
What's your face?
Sell yourself front, man.
Yeah, so when I go on inside now, I start to cry. I said, I can't take off my clothes for nobody. And she was like, you better study the babysitter. You have to pay the babysitter. So this guy came to me.
So that person was a friend?
No, she was my seamstress. She wasn't really a friend. And then she said, I'm going to introduce her to the boss. The boss was a man called Elephant Walk. He had a lot of bottles, like 21, and a lot of bottles in Trinidad. You didn't born yet.
Butters, what's that?
You didn't born yet.
We call butters.
What?
Wait, what's that name?
21.
But no, you say you had a lot of, but you say you had a lot of, you use a word, man, a specific.
What word?
You say the boss had a lot of.
It had a lot of brothels.
Brothels,
Yeah.
The accent.
Yeah, the accent, yeah.
Apologies, yeah.
And the boss said, I like her. She pretty. So there's this guy to the back now. Well, I crying. I real crying in the back. Because remember, I had to go and take off my clothes.
So you're naked at this point?
No, I ain't naked. Remember when you get raped and you go through trauma and you come and get married off, you thinking now it's rape all over again, you know. If you really understand a victim who get raped.
Right.
Remember, this is something you don't want to do. Yeah, remember, this is not something you volunteer to do. You think you're coming to be a waitress. And there's this guy in the back, he called me and I go. He says, the first time? I say yes, and I cry. He said, ever smoke? I said, no. He said, well, I given him some weed. That time was local. It didn't have no kush. And he gave me some weed. And he said, make sure I use the condoms. He was like schooling me. He said, when you go in your room, don't do this, don't do that, blah, 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 blah. I went out the night. When I went out, the first customer was a businessman. An Indian guy. And he said, why are you here? Well, I started crying one time in the room. He said, well, hear what? I don't want to do nothing with you. I'm feeling sorry for you because I started telling my story. My husband leave me and the whole story. And he said, well, we will stay here. He said, I can't go with you, but I'm giving you my number. I'm giving you some money. If you go out, tell them we do it. He said, but you're too pretty to be here. Well, I think, when I get that money, I go in. The woman who bring me now want to pimp me. She was like, all these people line up to go with your hair. I was like, what do you mean? She said, you're new. So all the customers would want to go with you. I said, well, I make some money. I want to go. She said, you can't go. You have to pay me. And the bar had to get the money. And so it was going. I went back in the back and the guy talked to me. And he told me, he said...
The same guy?
Yeah, the guy before, he said, after tonight, don't give she no money again. She don't own you. Well, he done give me a little heads up now. Because she does always do that. Bring girls to work and then she want to pimp them. And that night I made 9,000. Because I was new.
Oh, so you worked and
I had no choice. Because I had to pay the babysitter. I had to find a place for my kids.
The vagina was worked?
No, I don't think so. Your mouth ain't good enough. Why you say something like that? Eh?
I tell you, you need to get to know me, man. This is the perspective.
Let me turn on the left a little bit, then turn on the right. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, this is the Perspectives podcast, you know. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. But you know I will answer it soon.
Yeah, answer me.
What answer you?
Yeah, I just want you to...
Yeah, So, I left there any night, and the next day, I went and looked for a place.
So question, you can't remember how much customers you had that night?
No, I can't. That was 30-some years ago.
It was countless though. It was a lot of customers.
I think you was there. I remember seeing you waiting by the door. But I tell you didn't have enough money. Come back. You remember that? I remember distinctly as you. You come with $20 and you know it's $300 for half an hour. Hello?
In them days there? But a whole heap of money, man.
High profile. That's what you call. Right? And I did that. And
so you went back after that night?
I did that for 10 years. I built a 2-bedroom apartment. I became one of the biggest sex workers in Trinidad, from politicians to businessmen. I had a brothel in St. Anne's. I had girls working for me. I was a madam. Yeah. Yeah, put on your shades now.
No, man.
Arrested.
You have a story, man.
That's why that book says still standing. And in that life comes many situations. When you see the monsters and them done eat our food, is the whole house they're coming in. So when they come now, they're looking for girls like us. So I got involved with a lot of gang banners. One thing I never did, and I'm proud of myself, being a sex worker, A lot of people came, they wanted to do videos, they wanted to do, I never did it. Something I always say that would have come back to haunt me. I never did an X-rated, I never do a blue movie, I never take out nudes, I never did it. Something, and I believe it's because of this time in here, 2024. Yeah, I never did it. So I did that for many years. Yeah, I started over. I got a place for my kids, and I, yeah, built up.
And what was it? What was it like now being a sex worker in Trinidad? I guess you would be known for that because eventually you became a madam. So what was the stigma like? In those days?
Before that, I used to work in the hotels, and then they started raiding hotels, so they started getting locked up because it's illegal in Trinidad, and we started work the streets. So there was a popular street. If it's still around Carrion Street, girls still work there. A street called Maurice Street in Woodbrook, right? We started to work there. Then the police started raiding the streets.
No,
but it's good to interview some of these girls that run away from the same thing I run away from.
Yeah, maybe I would like to do
a lot of them girls and them run away from St. Jude's, or they run away and somebody carried them down there.
So to this day, this is still happening?
Still happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is reality attack still enough.
Yeah.
This life
you see,
is real.
some girls rather run away than to be raped by a relative or run away from abuse. They rather go on the streets, you know.
So you think it's worth it to actually run away when eventually you end up in a situation like that?
Not in this timing. There's a whole different timing. A lot of human trafficking, a lot of different things now back in the day. Well, a lot of my friends died with HIV and AIDS. A couple of them get killed because the company they keep or whatever. I lost a lot of friends out there. A lot of friends I lost out there by way of HIV and AIDS, by murder.
So how did you dodge those bullets?
So I was arrested a couple of times. I had one attempted murder because I used to make real money and somebody tried to, I stabbed up the person. So I had to get locked up for that. And then I had other cases like with soliciting and different little thing, robbery and robbery with your man, all kind of thing. I had 11 arrests. But my brother become a Christian. And he always tell me, girl, God have a plan for your life. I used to say, when your father was raping me, where was God? I didn't care. My mouth was loose. You know, and he would keep praying for me, keep praying for me. And, you know, I went through a lot of stuff to get myself tapped. I was kidnapped, beaten, raped, and left for dead in King George V. That was a big thing.
When, let's get into that experience. How did that happen? Okay,
so at night, well, you can't remember that, but there was a building in town called Salvatore Building. You wouldn't know that.
I couldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah,
so it had this big building in town. Like when you go to hang out, you wait right there for a taxi. But when I was in the bar, we was lineman. This guy, he was harassing me, but was a girls' night out. We was not no man. You know, sometimes I go out, you just hang out. So when he came and he asked me for, I told him, I said no. Not knowing he was watching me, and you would think it's somebody scruffy or he looking like a monster. This guy was a nice guy, light-skinned guy, nice guy, driving a company vehicle, everything. So while I waited for my taxi, he just pulled up. So he said, like to make style on people. That's when I was like, I thinking, well, he's a pushover. You know, he asked me if I want a drop, and I did take a drop from him. Because he looked innocent. He looked like, you know, and this is something I talk about in my book. These are the killers. The people, they call them white collar criminals. These are the killers. These people that's dressed up with the glasses and the white shirt, these are the killers. These are the pedophiles. The people that you least expect. And while we're driving and we go in, I see he started driving and I find he not talking. So he was like, you like to make style on man? He just started up just so. He was like, I'm gonna break tonight. I was like, drop me out here. Because I have a teacher. I said, stop this car and drop me out here. He said, drop you out? Now, I don't know if all the past there, but Caroni is an area was real dark. It have no lights there. And he just pull off the highway. And when he pull off the highway and he stop. And all I know is this man pull out a gun. And he said, take off all your clothes. Well, I start to cry. Well, I was a crier. And I said, you don't have no sisters. He said, hush your mouth, but I could drive. Like one thing I could drive. I drive since I'm young. So I tell him, I say, I want to pee. Because I'm trying to get out of the car. He said, leave it back. Take off your shoe. So when I come out of the car now, to go to the back, well, I go and run because it's tall cane, They used to plant cane back in them day. I see a brown car, a Lancer, old-time car. So I run out in the middle of the road and set a flag down the car. Well, nobody is stopping me back there for you because they're black. And he drive off. So when he see the car and stop for me, he reverse back. Well, I try to run in the cane. And when I run in the cane, he just come out the car and run, and he end up catching up with me. And end up he pushed me in from the driver's side, but I was going to drive off. All I feel is one hit on my face here with the gun. And he ended up putting me inside. And when he put me inside, he said, the last girl, I cut she from she front to the back and I never find her body. I said, Lord Jesus, I couldn't die here tonight. In my head, I was thinking that. I said, Lord, what about my children? I started thinking about my children. I started all kind of things going through my mind. And he just put the gun to my head and he told me I had to give him heads. He do all kind of thing. And then he told me, he said, if you let one drop of the sperm come off, I'll blow out your brain. So you know the ordeal. I don't even want to go through it again, but it was horrific. I will leave that right there. Yeah, that was an experience. That's why I say down here is good. It's good. Because I ask myself this question, God, why you allow me to go through all this? I didn't go through all this as a child, you know? So it come like, you know, I was being raped multiple times, over and over and over. So I couldn't understand that. So I said, ask myself the question, why do wrong? Why I do? You know? And, boy, police end up thinking, they end up...
So wait. After him finished with you and beat you, and left you there?
No, he didn't left me. I talk him out. He was going to kill me. I talk him down. I talk, cry, talk. And he dropped me back straight in town, where he picked me up. And when he picked me up, it had vendors there. I started to ball down the place. And it had an army vehicle passing who knew I was a soldier wife. And they picked me up. And same time a vendor in town take the car number. So they had to carry me back now they carry me Besser Street station. But Besser Street is not where the crime took place. They had to carry me back quite Caroni. And when they went Caroni, they find the rag and thing where you wipe up his selfie, they get the car number. And you know, they end up finding him. He was a big boy's son. Money. You know, from right Couva here, right in this area. And the police that get paid off and thing, nothing came out of it. Yeah, nothing came out of it. The police who was under the investigation of that say when they went by his house, they never find no arms and ammunition. But that was not the case. The case was rape. They were supposed to arrest him because you get the car number, you get the rag where he used, you could get his DNA off of that.
Your testimony.
You understand? Yeah. So, but we found out.
So a rape kit wasn't nothing.
No. And he got off. And that was it. They say the police who was investigating, now then we found out the part police was under investigation for fraud. He used to take bribes. But he died now. So nothing came out of that.
Why, Doc? Your story heavy upon my spirit. I'm not telling a lie.
Yeah, and I just... See that book?
Wow.
See that book there?
What's the name of it?
Still Standing. Turn it around.
Still Standing.
An account of a woman's journey to freedom.
Woman's journey to freedom, boy. Doc, you have a story. Now, from there, where did life go for you?
Well, as I said, my brother got saved. And I was invited to a crusade. I gave my life to Christ because a lot happened. I started to get arrested, was in prison, spent time in prison. And then, you know, my family was embarrassed because I'm a Ramsingh. Very prominent name, and when I got arrested, time was 36 of us they lock up. One time they catch me in a hotel with a white man. They take up pictures with us, but I grab up a sheet. So I had solicited cases, I had robbery cases, a lot of different cases. And then I realized I was going downhill. And to be honest, I was always attracted to killers. And I think it's because of what I went through as a child
I feel
coming
like
up.
it's a traumatic response. Your response was
protection.
Maybe subconsciously, your spirit was saying, "Hey, I'm protected by. I can be protected by."
I didn't want no good guys. I always look for somebody who, if he's not a boss, he had to be saying something. Because I always look for that protection, because I feel here what. I had to get somebody, not wimpy, I had to get somebody who could protect me because I've been through so much. And I got saved. And the church I got saved with, they tell me it's time to share my story, but I couldn't share it. I never sure about my rape. Years it took me because I hated my mother one, hated my stepfather, because that was a whole nother thing to forgive them. Because remember what they did?
So you forgive them?
Yeah, I had to. In order to be the woman I am today, I had to forgive them. Yeah, look how it's in your face. I had to forgive them. If I did not forgive them, I would never be where I am today. Yeah.
Boy, Doc, what a woman we sit down beside your fam.
You know, and
you're quite the woman, you know.
Boy, it's good. And I will tell you something.
So before you continue, how did you get to the point where you can forgive them? Like, how did you get over this?
When I started to go to church, right? Remember, I couldn't read anything. I used to have the Bible faking and reading. I couldn't read. Nobody knew I couldn't read.
Wow.
Right? So my girlfriend now, I said, Jenny, don't tell nobody, but you know I can't read. She said, why you didn't tell me? I said, no, girl, I feel shame. I said, but so how you sure?
Because at that age, you know what age at that point?
I was like, I had my 2 kids. I think I was in my 30s, early 30s. Remember, I couldn't read. And
because your husband just left you and you got through all of this. You were a prostitute for
10 years.
10 years. So like
off and on too. Off and on, because I was building a house. And
you were telling your friend.
Yeah, so I tell her, and she was like, I will help you. I said, all right. I said, don't tell nobody. I said, because suppose with this pastor reading his lies here. I can't trust them. You know me. That's how I was. And I just continue, and they sent my story to a radio station. And then the radio station started to call me to share my story, to help other people. And I started this gospel group, because I could do a little thing. And I wanted to go back out Murray Street and talk to the girls and them, and let them come off the streets, tell them, look, I come off the streets and you could do it too. So I wanted to do ministry one time. I wanted to save how much people I could have saved. And I didn't know our technical manager took my testimony, like how I'm talking to you here, and he sent it to a church in Columbus, Ohio, which is World Harvest Church. You must get time, you'll pull them up. And I got a letter. September 11, this happened. I was in 2000. And when we get the whole letter now, they invited me to Ohio to come to speak, to talk to a woman's conference. Remember, I can't read. So when I read everything for me, they say, you're going to go to America. I said, what? Remember, nobody in my family ever traveled. There's a girl who can't read, who can't write, going through so much of stuff. So they started to read up everything for me. They sent the confirmation for hotels, they sent everything. And they was not giving out visas that time. But from the time I reached in the embassy for my appointment and I go on, the first question the man asked me is, what is World Harvest and what is Dominion? Well, I don't know, it's a camp meeting I go into. And he said, what you going there to do? I say, I'm going to share my story. And I got a 10-year visa. I went to Columbus, Ohio. I shared my visa, shared my testimony. And it's the first time. I didn't even know how to read a check. After they took me to the green room and I finished, over 30-something thousand people is watching me running, bawling. I was like, what's happening here? But your story, you know, you help other people be delivered. All that time, I can't read still, you know. And the pastor know, and he tell me.
So you were just telling
talking,
the story,
like I was talking, yeah? Just tell it because I couldn't read. And I was kind of scared. He said, no, just tell your story. You have an hour. And when I finished, they took me to a thing called the green room. I went to the green room. They took me back to my hotel. And then they said they called me for my honorarium. I didn't know what was that. That is when they pay, yeah? And I didn't even know what was written in the check. I didn't know if it was $10 or $100 because I couldn't read.
You're that illiterate?
Yeah, I didn't know nothing. Wow. And I ended up calling somebody and read it out for them. And they said, it's 10,000 US. I said, what? 10,000 US, but I couldn't change it because I only had one form of American, which was my visa. And the pastor take back the check because he realized I didn't have it, and they gave me 10,000 cash. And when I left there, at a church in New York, they invited me in Queens, and I got a full scholarship to go to Bible school there. Yeah? And
so your road to redemption started with the church?
Yeah, with the church, yes.
And from there, where things go for you?
Well, I started, when I tell you I wanted to go back out, I moved to New York. I went to Bible school. I read the Bible, and I get up one morning just one day start to read. I get up and I start to read. The first book I read was the Bible. I still have little problems all now to spell. But you're ready for me.
No, because I mean, them say your brain develop at the age, at a young age, you know. So by the time you're 12, you don't develop certain things. So like you would have little struggles naturally. So that's nothing.
Yeah. And the thing about it is people was moved with my story. That's how I survived domestic violence.
I'm moved by your story.
Survived.
Not just domestic violence, violence overall.
And I started to go to Africa. I went to Nigeria for 7 weeks. Yeah, it's all on my Facebook. I went and ministered for 7 weeks. I went to Australia, Barbados, a lot of different countries. I started to go and tell my story. And that's where it started for me. Yep.
Now, what has that journey been like now?
That journey, to be honest with you, in 2004 I was ordained a pastor. But that was not my calling. And sometimes when you're under fellowship, you want to be obedient to your pastor. But I've learned over the years you have to be obedient to God. You cannot let people put you in positions that you weren't called for. So, how to put it? That wasn't my calling, so I walked away from the office of a pastor. I know I was more evangelism because I was about soul winning and helping people. You know, and because I started to, I said I want to go with the prison ministry to Rikers Island because I was arrested and incarcerated. So I always wanted to go and talk to women in the prison. And I started to go to Rikers Island with my godmother. Started to go.
Oh, so you lived in the state?
I lived in the States for 15 years. And I started to do Rikers Island. I started to go up by the White House. We used to do prayer groups, we praying for the government. Those days, Bloomberg was the mayor. Bloomberg had always called for our team. We'll go up there, pray. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And while I was out there, I was writing this book. I go on the train, plus I was working. I was working with a judge who retired. I was a home aide. I was like his assistant working with him. And I started to write this on paper, book, all kind of thing. I said, you know what, I want to write my story, but nobody could understand because remember, I can't spell good. But you see my son? My son said, Mommy, when you come bring that copybook. So I used to be back and forth. And my son, we break that generation curse. My son is the only child who passed, went to Trinity College, get 12 subjects, distinctions, the full works. And those children, I used to work, sell my body. And I say my children will not go through what I went through. I send all my children to school and never keep them home. Sometimes I remember when the police were running us. I studied them children are out in, plus the father to take him to court, you don't want to mind the children. I say, you know what, my children gonna get everything. Sometimes I out there the road hard. Sometimes you're there 7 o'clock until the morning, 4 o'clock, you now get one business. And when the men realize the road hard, they don't want to pay a price. So you have to go with like about 4 men to make up about $600. Then you're reaching home about 8 in the morning. You have to send your children to school and the children watching.
So your children would have known that you were doing that?
They never know. I used to lie and say I'm working in a casino. They never knew until they get older. I told them. You understand? So
and how did they react to that?
My daughter is my eyeball. She said, Mommy, I didn't know something, you know. She said, but Mommy will never let you down.
Right. So you being on the road, you never got sick and so like catch diseases and them things?
I was a very smart girl. Very, very smart. And I always use my condoms as one. I used to buy a box of Rough Rider. Because that's a business. If you have one,
you're getting rough to that.
I'm gonna interview you, You see you? And the questions I'm gonna ask you. When I finish with you, mister.
Back home, they say I'm very unprofessional.
Nah, but I like your vibes. You're good, you're good.
People love.
Yeah. But don't worry.
No, naturally.
You will be in this chair next time.
Listen to me, Dad. You see, if you can't laugh about things.
No, you have to.
If you can't put a smile on your face, you're not living in it. Remember me telling you that, like, but you were saying you're really smart and you make sure you had the Rough Riders for the Rough Ridings.
Alright. Don't worry. I will get you in this chair. This chair right here.
Can't help myself.
Yeah, so I really thank God because a lot of my friends died with HIV and AIDS.
Right.
And one of the most horrific thing that happened is one of my friends out there. You know, I did leave out there, but I used to always go back out there and talk to them and tell them come off the life. And while I was home,
When that's when you found
God, yeah. And my mother called me. That time my mother was alive, and she said, "This is not your friend." And what happened? Her man went and do a robbery, and he ducked out with people money. But they know he girl used to work on the streets, and they went to ask her, and she didn't want to talk, and they just shoot her and kill her and leave her on the ground right there. That was real. Excuse me, because I think I saw her the week before. And was telling her, and she told me, she said, since a small Jesus coming, you know, and that kind of hurts. I have a lot of girlfriends who really died out there. I have an ex-girlfriend, I sometimes open my post, her name was Buffy. I was talking at her funeral, she was murdered also. You know, so I have a lot of friends who died out there with HIV. One of my friends, they found her in an alley. She was there for days, she was decomposed.
What killed her?
It was a gunshot wound.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of girls out there die. And just imagine back in the day, so waiting going on now, this present time, you know, it gets harder. Yeah?
Now, at what point did you get write this book? Like, this book was complete?
When I moved back to Trinidad in 2014.
Why did you move back to Trinidad?
I came back to Trinidad because my children's father died, the soldier. And when I was going to America to live, we made an agreement that we would take care of the children together. So I used to send them money and stuff, and they would live by their father. And I came home for vacation. And when I came home, my son didn't sit 6 yet. He had a heart attack before, but he survived. And then while I was in Trinidad, on Father's Day, he died. Massive heart attack in the army camp. And I had to make some, he had a girlfriend before, but I had to make some decision because, you know, my children is in Trinidad. And I had a job. So I was to get a place for my kids. And I had my granddaughter, which was her. She did now born, the girl out there. And I said I have to go and wrap up things, and I couldn't leave my children. You know, their father died. And I moved back to Trinidad because of my kids.
What was life like moving back to Trinidad now?
Horrible. It was horrible.
What year was that?
Because 2015. But thank God, I don't care what nobody said. The coalition government, listen, I was even to Napuna. They joined up together and they had one. That's how they helped me write this book. And in the beginning, it was a little hard because you come back home, your money start to go down, you had to start to look for it and whatever. And I say, see me, this not happening to me again. And I end up writing this book. And the government of Trinidad and Tobago helped me write that book, sponsor certain parts of it, and we wrote the book, we launched it. And when I launched this book, this is where I got a lot of breaks in my life, telling my story. This is the autobiography of my life.
I think your story not just the book, but your story has been your redemption. Because it's your story that took you to America. It's your story that maintained you in America. And it's your story that established you in Trinidad.
Yes.
And I think it's your story is your life.
Yes.
Like, you have a powerful story. You know what I mean? And I don't think that story ended in trauma. So you would have, well, my introduction to you is as a manager, an artist manager. How did you get into that?
Well, I had a sponsored program on Boom Champions, which is a radio station every Sunday called Keeping It Real with Dr. V. And I was asked by Rebel, Rebel 6, manager, to help coach Rebel to speak. Like, when they go to do an interview, how these guys are used to talk. So he was like, Dr. V, I want to hire you to train these guys to speak. I said, okay. And I started to work with Rebel. Started to teach him how to talk when you're going to interview. No, don't say that, don't say this. Tell them no, you're not answering. Oh, get a list of questions where you feel comfortable to answer. And that's how it started. And then Mr. Ellis said to me...
Well, that's a problem to me. Get a list of questions.
I think it's better when you flow.
Yeah,
like how we flow in here.
Yeah,
it's
because...
Better.
Yeah.
But for certain people, because people like to ask certain things that you feel, don't want to talk about.
Well, I think the better thing to do as a coach, as a speech coach or whatever the title is to teach them how to evade or dodge questions.
Change the topic.
How to change topic.
Yeah.
It's
did that
better,
a lot.
That is a better strategy than to tell them to say not to ask this or not to ask that,
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you teach them those skills now, when they get stick up, they know how to get out of the situation versus trying to avoid it overall, because at home you probably can do that in your comfort zone, but when you go out there in the world, it kind of different. But yeah, continue. You were saying about you started by training these artists. Yeah,
and then Mr. Ellie came to me and he said, you ever think about managing art? I said, managing? I said, I don't have a clue how to do that. But he was managing Rebel, he was managing Plumpy at the time. I can't remember how much, but I know those two. And he said, I have a guy for you. I want you to help this guy. And that was Juvetan. I don't know if you know Juvetan.
No, I don't know. I'm not aware.
Well, anyway, Juvetan was the first artist, and then I started to manage a couple of other artists, and I liked it. It was nice. It was really, really nice, and there weren't no 6 and 7, no numbers and all of that.
Who was your most popular artist managing?
I think Toppy Boss, I'll give him one. He's a Muslim artist. He's very talented, and my husband. Also, Saya.
Right.
Saya Boss. I would say the three of them. I'm thinking about anybody else. I think so far the three of them. Yeah.
Right. Now, you said there wasn't any numbers at that point.
No, it was just like Rasta and the Muslim. It was just like that before. And the thing about it is with me, I like to say I'm from old school. It's no snitching, no way. If I come and I say I'm doing something in a community, I'm genuine with what I do, because I do a lot of food drives, helps a lot of people, family, poverty. I see that sign up there, the SRV Foundation. I give back. So if I never had a problem to go in the zones, any zone, whether it be Muslim, Rasta, Beatum, Silat, whatever. The bosses and them always welcome me because they know I mean well. I live a life too. I was arrested, I gone through all kind of stuff, whatever the case may be. So there's no fear with me, as a real one, and I liked it. I liked it.
Now, the music has changed. Today, I can say it's basically a numbers music as it relates to the Trinidad side of music. How do you feel about that?
For me, I always tell the artists, sing your music. I never rap anything but music. And like I used to tell some of my artists, is either you want to be a gangster, you want to be a musician, where it is. Choose which one you want to be. It can't be both. You understand? And it's really, really sad because, you know, I lost a couple of artists and friends by way of violence. And I have children around their age too. So I always look at some of my artists them as my kids, and I would try to be that mother figure to them. But I say just sing the music. And if you want to clash out, do back in the day like Mavado and them, like we go on the stage and clash it out. There's real dancehall.
Right.
We want to call it dancehall. I don't even want to say Trinidad. Dancehall music back in the day with Cartel and Mavado and all these fellas and them.
I think the idea of Trinidad, from my perspective, the idea of Trinidad is basically Trinidad dancehall. You know, so I definitely agree with you.
You know, I just say, but why they say, if you're really bad, show me how bad it is on the mic. That is me.
Leave it out.
Yeah, leave it off the streets and don't get involved with the bosses and them fight. That's not your fight. Sing your music. Yeah, you want to throw a sing for a man, throw it. You understand? But do it in your music. Don't take it to the streets, though, you know, and it's just sad because I will tell you this. When you go in YTC, which is the junior prison, 99.9% is Afro-Trinidadians in there. The minority, 1% might be East Indian. I never see a Chinese in jail. Because remember I do in prison ministry, I never see a Chinese. And if a Syrian go in the jail, you're sure he gonna get bailed out. Understand what I'm saying? And you know how much friends I have in prison? Who in Raymania just sit down waiting there for the case to try. I have a friend right now, 14 years, he waiting for the case to call. It's sad to that in the next part of the system.
Yeah, my interview with you yesterday, Madis, big up Madis. Madis said 3 years in run for remand. 3 years.
So that come like you done serve your time already. And your case still going on when you come out, when you get bail. You understand? Yeah, no, I know about it. I remember when I was locked up. Them had me on surety, 500,000 surety. I couldn't even get somebody with a clean deed. I had to stay in jail 6 months before I got bail. And every time I go to court, your bail is drop, you know. Like if it's 500,000, every 2 weeks I go to court back in the day, go drop. Until the magistrates get fed up seeing me. She said, why this woman still here? They move it and put it to surety, and that's how I come out. So the system and all, the prison system, TTPS, the national security, I call them all the protective services. I want them to bring body cam. I want body cam in Trinidad. I want them to bring back joint patrol. You know, it's too much a thing. And I think it was 3 years ago before Rebel died, I posted up something. The whole of Trinidad, I went viral. I say, how about always have a shootout with the police and the police don't get killed, but the other party just get killed? That's my question. Because if it's a shootout, how come the police don't get killed? How come it's always be the other party? You understand what I'm saying? So I used to ask questions like that because keeping it real with Dr. V. I would ask some questions. I went viral. My son wake me up. Mommy, the bashi used to take down this post. When I wake up the morning, if you see, my thing was a mess. Just because I see how it can be a shootout with police and the police, where the police shooting up the police car. Wait, anybody investigating, I asking questions like that. You know, so a lot of them things that was very controversial.
So did you get thrown off radio? Or did you get
No,
thrown?
never. Me? Baby, I come in with my sponsors, so never. Never ever.
So how come you're not keeping it real with Dr. V again?
No, what happened is the pandemic hit. You forget. Now when the pandemic hit and there was a situation, we had a program. The program was a Sunday morning and we was talking, our show is live. So we asked the question, if your child come and say there's a transgender, how would you handle it as a parent?
How would you handle
That was the topic. Wait, let me finish. So our boss from upstairs called from upstairs. Now we live, Our boss from upstairs call, and not calling no names, right? Our boss from upstairs call and say you all need to change the whole program. We stupid because we come off air. We don't know what to do again Because remember, people waiting for a continuation because we talking about our parents want to answer. Because I used to have callings. I used to give giveaways, give money because what people interacting, blah, blah. So me and my DJs, everybody, we watch one another. I said, well, how we going back on there? And I'm Dr. V, you are sure you at a time, so I come back on. I said, guys, we will have to do continue show next week. That is what I had to say. And we just continue with change. And after the pandemic, you know, I don't want to talk about the owners of the station. We could talk about that after. But after the pandemic and thing, I took my sponsors and I left because you can't box me in. You can't tell me what to talk about. You can't tell me don't discuss this and don't discuss that. Because my program is paid, not by you all. And because I have a sponsored program, and they never had nothing like that on a Sunday, I had 3 hours. You understand? So, but I'm getting ready to go on another station just now. It's in the works right now.
You're very fiery, you know?
I have to be fiery. You hear my name, or? Huh?
Dr. V.
You don't talk about you fiery, just hiding behind that shades there, but your mouth ain't good enough.
Yeah, Dr. V, you're very... Hey, the V in your name is definitely not for virgin, you know. Dr. V, lady of experiences. Wow. I mean, boy, Dr. V, you have a story, you know, Doc.
And then I got married.
Give me a hug there.
Take the anointing, come on, you know. Take the anointing, come on, you know. Watch yourself, you started speaking tongue, Rabba Shatada Bokosa. In Jesus' name.
I love your energy, Doc.
Yeah, you like it?
You're an overcomer.
Of course.
You're an overcomer, man. Now, as it relates to now, the Dr. V, you never explained to me how you got the doctor.
Okay.
And your name.
So, remember I tell you I was doing a lot of work America. And when I moved back to Trinidad, I didn't know I was nominated for honorary doctorate in humanitarian work. I didn't put them up as that because I know doing it back here. And when they called me, they was like, you have to come up. I said, but why have to come up? Remember, I was going to Racas Island. I was going Hunts Point. I don't know if you ever heard of a place called Hunts Point that's in the Bronx. Girls would come out there less than 0, whether in short skirt, prostitutes. So I used to go there. That was my ministry. So the churches and them take a look at what I do. And I said, this woman from the West Indies. This woman going anywhere they call. Are going. They're going to Racas, are going. They're going to feed for Thanksgiving. I send out 100 turkeys with this woman, cleaning turkey, baking, doing everything. Because I want to give back. And when them call me up and say, you're going to get an honorary doctorate in humanitarian work, and if you could come up for the ceremony, I couldn't. Them end up sending all my stuff in DHL for me. And that's how I was married to, after my first husband, I was married to Ken Valley, nephew, which is the ex-finance minister. That's how I get the V. And when I go on the radio, everybody was like, you had to get a name, you had to get a name. So I said, well, Dr. V. And that is how Dr. V came across.
Right. Now, you say you're married again.
This is the 3rd time.
This is the 3rd time. Will this be the final one?
This is, of course, next one going to be 3 years we married, we together 6. And my husband is the same age with you. Yeah?
No,
I met my husband when he was 19. My husband going to be 26 next month. I'm 57. And we are happily married. Yeah? Next month will be 3 years we married. And we together 6. Why are you crossing your legs? So take you hurt yourself for now?
Doc, let's talk about it.
You like Bakalala though?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Remember I told you my husband was my artist. I used to manage him. And we became friends. And what happened?
You mix a little business with pleasure.
No, we didn't mix business. We were just friends. And we went to a show in Tobago. We had a big show. And the hurricane took place. And we were stuck in Tobago. And we started talking, and then he started telling me he was like older woman. And I was like, okay then. And he started talking. Oh, the man how old is started to talk. Stop pretending like you don't know. So I said, I watched him. I said, he cute, you know. How old he was again? 19. I said, you were your mother to him. V, come on. My last girl was 40-something because he was out there. At that time, he was out there. And when I came back to Trinidad and I dropped he home, he calling me on the phone.
Don't light up.
You're too fast. I'm not talking about that.
The fire was parked.
Hey,
Tobago.
what you talking about?
I tell you need to get to know me. You know?
Yeah, so anyway, when we reached back Trinidad,
So nothing not going over there.
But thing must go on. Here why thing had to go on when I drop him home. When we come from Tobago, I know Rich Coover that is on here. He live in Valencia. He called me. He said, "V, what you doing?" I said, and I'll drop you home. We now come from Tobago. Here, make a come for me. First the thing was sweet. He had to do it twice. You like talk, take talk. Take talk. I went to pick him up. He never go back home. Cause I'm out now. Put back on your glasses.
What kind of glasses, Daddy, boy?
Yeah, put on your glasses.
That's a Trinidad nice, man.
Get John Bravo tip him.
That's such Trinidad nice.
If it nice again. We was together 3 years, and then a day he just come and he say, he and my son is best friends, eh? So this gang up on me. Best friends. And a day he come and he say, "V, I want to ask you something." He say, "You ever get married again?" I said, "Hell no." I said, "We doing good just so." He said, "Nah, V, I know you're a God-fearing woman, and I want to do the right thing. You're a good woman." I said, "Leo, you're a young fella. You have your whole life ahead of you. I have big children, I have grandchildren." He was like, "Navi, you show me too much. I would have still be on the block. I could have died. Look at how many of my friends died." Remember, he was a Trinidad artist. He said, "No, girl, I come out today because I used to be on the block whole day, no? Whole day on the block." And I say yes. And tell his family everybody was normal and we get married.
So wait. Yeah, I needed a little break to take my break there before I ask the next question. Because as a big woman, Zane, you're married to somebody half your age.
And younger than myself.
Quarter your age. Right? Do you expect loyalty of him? Like you expect him to be faithful to you in terms of at least...
Your word, expect, is the wrong question. He is faithful. I'm saying it for he is faithful. You see, that fella, let me tell you something. You know, woman, they say, "I put my hand on the block for the man." I wouldn't do that. But you see, that man, we have an open phone policy. We goes nowhere without one. You see me, you see he, bam and bam. Listen to what I'm saying to you. And when I just went Canada to sell my products, that man calling me 20 times a day. You know why? Because he loved this Douglas and this Douglas loved him. He could be a missing, you know, this big bed. This big bed here is only them 2 dogs in the bed. B, come home. I was supposed to stay a whole extra week in Canada and he was like, "No, you gotta come home." Who man at that age telling the wife come home when you know you could run the route? You know why? Age is just a number. Here what I'm telling you. That man had more maturity than all them big men I was with. You ever telling you?
What you do to him, Doc? What is the secret? What is the secret?
We have a saying, "Come back and I shall return." Keep that in your brain.
So from that Tobago trip that he has returned and never left.
It had nothing to do with sex, you know. You see here what? Remember, we didn't just rush and get married, you know. We lived together, you know. And he see me. I couldn't hide nothing. You know when you now start to date somebody, you pretend, you show the side of you. You know what he told me the other day, you remember with me? He said, "V, you know when we now start to live together, you used to sleep with that gum in your mouth all night." He said, "You didn't use a friend, you choke yourself." Because I was a young boy. You know.
No, but that, you have had worse things done to you in life.
What are you talking about? You know it is now for your man to go there, jam a thing, and come back home and bring an STD and you was a sex worker and you never get it? Talk about that.
He used a condom.
If he didn't use one, you always, if you like to pick up a man. Because you know you want to have 2 and 3 women. You don't want 1 woman.
No,
you want 3, 4, 5. You was a Muslim.
No, listen.
You was a Muslim?
No, I'm just me, you know?
You're just you?
Yeah. I'm closer to a Rastafarian than anything else. Yeah.
Not with that color in your hair.
No. In terms of faith, if I was to choose a faith,
right.
I would choose Rastafarianism before anything else. Based upon the fact that I'm influenced so much by the likes of Mota Baruka. You know Mota? He's a Rastafarian from Jamaica. Yeah. Read up on him.
I'll read up.
Yeah, and Sizzler, Marcus Garvey. You know, I'm like a Pan-Africanist.
Yeah, I like.
If you understand me.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. Contrary to what you may believe, I have one woman. I keep one woman at a time.
You deserve a clap.
Yeah.
You deserve a clap, and I like that. You know what they say?
Wait, before you go, don't ever. It's one at a time, and I'm meaning like I done the threesomes and so it's one at a time. It might be one today and one tomorrow, but it's one at a time.
You need Jesus. You need Jesus.
I just pulling the legs. I just pulling the legs. Yeah, but what you were saying now?
Yeah, so the thing about it is, you see...
You not give second chance.
Nah, I give no second chance like that.
But life has given you so many chances.
No, that's a whole different second chance. This is a chance where I come and I pour out my heart to you, and I come and I just lay down everything on the line, and you just feel you could go there and jam. No, I prefer you come and tell me we can't make it, and you go your way, I go my way. And you do all the jamming.
So that you just take care of your man.
If I just take care of him again.
Financially and so.
My husband has a job. 1, we own this business together.
2.
Today he not here because he on a job, right? And we take care of one another. That's how it goes. We take care of one another. There's nothing I don't want. There's nothing that he don't want. Yeah.
You have it going. Wow.
Yeah, ask about kids. Where you ask for that? Yeah.
It's just going there, you know.
Yeah, go. Where you go there?
So he have children?
No, he have no kids.
Come on, no, Doc.
Right, so you want to talk, ask me the questions, I'm answer you. I want to answer you, that's why I check your face. I want to answer you, yeah. Your face well spoon in it, but I be a face model for my Malago cream, eh?
Come on, Doc. Doc, so Doc. He tell you he don't want to have children?
So, can I speak?
Yes, please.
So, when I was living in New York, there's a thing called freezer eggs. You know about freezer eggs? Right? And there's Barbados Fertility Clinic. So when I moved back to Trinidad, I moved my eggs to Barbados Fertility Clinic. Next year, we are going to start our family where you take his sperm, put it in the egg, and then put it up in my uterus, and we're going to have twins. We're making 2 one time. Talk that. Talk now. Yeah.
So you're going to deliver the baby?
Yeah. I just have to be healthy. Once I'm healthy and I do everything, I deliver my child.
At 50?
At 57. There's a woman who had a baby 60 years in Australia. Go up and pull it up. What age Sarah get pregnant? What age was it? Huh? What age? Put on your hand, close your mouth. What's going on with you? Yeah, think on that. Let me tell you something. We live in a world. You see money, the Bible says money answer all things. It's not a matter of age, and if you can have children, that's nonsense. Once you have money, you can do artificial insemination, IVF. You want to have 2 children one time, you tell the doctors, you say, son, put in 3 embryos, 2 embryos, I want to have twins when I'm done. You want 4 children, why you feel J-Lo have twins, Puffy have twins, Angela Bassett, all these people are twins. It's the same thing. You just start having money for it. Yeah, talk.
At 57, you'll be having a child.
What's wrong with that?
Twins at that.
What's wrong with that? They have a young father today or tomorrow. God, decided for me to come. Their father will do a great job. I tell you, age is just a number,
You are the definition of age is just a number.
Age is just a number, Let me tell you something. And I am not saying for everybody, it have people, might meet people who not genuine. You hear what I'm saying? Who not genuine and after you because they have money or because of whatever the case may be. You understand? We didn't just jump and get married, you know. We lived together for 3 years, you know. And next month gonna be 3 years we married, so we together 6 years. Yeah. And not once any one of us was unfaithful to one another.
Why, Doc?
Yeah.
Doc?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to tell the people?
Anything like what? It doesn't matter.
Your business.
My
Your
business.
business in Trinidad. What is this business about?
It's healing, the Healing and Wellness Center. I deal with all natural products. Diabetes, hypertension, hearts. I supply certain things. I was diabetic before. Came off of all medication. And I deal with skin care, different things.
Yeah, earlier me here I see some madness, you know.
Yeah, don't talk about that because I will take that cream and show how good it is work. But anyway, I don't deal with bleaching, as I say. I don't deal with bleaching at all.
But if it's a skin lightening, if it's lightening skin, it's bleaching.
Could I say something? You easy, you know. But anyway, so the Healing and Wellness Center, it's part ownership with myself and my husband.
That kid's smart, you know I'll go down the road there with me.
Now we won't go down that road. That's a whole next show. But I will go down with that next show.
Alright, Doc.
That next
Yeah,
show.
but you're saying the Healing and Wellness Center?
Yeah, Healing and Wellness Center in Couva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we can find you on the socials?
So, Dr. Sandra Ramsingh.
Dr. Sandra.
You can find Healing and Wellness Center, the Healing and Wellness Center.
That big up, you know? Tump. Me next hug there, Doc.
Why you only want to hug me up so? Look at...
It's nice meeting you, Doc.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah, that give me a wonderful episode. I don't think much can top this episode in terms of the content of this. This has been the Perspectives Podcast. We're here in Trinidad. I mean, wow. Dr. V. And the V in the doctor don't stand for virgin. Definitely not. Perspective Podcast, essential. Dr. V, until next time, out.
Hoy, and I said nobody now believe it. Well, if them here say I beat it, me and the pastor, me not go preach it to how we all it down. Yeah, man, it's Dejour, and I mean giving you a different perspective on Perspectives Media. Easy.
Perspectives Media.